tires blew out, he thought it was just bad luck, a random flat, maybe debris in the road. But when he stepped out and saw both front tires shredded with nails buried deep inside them, that's when the situation stopped feeling random. He had been driving for hours already, chasing a dream that wasn't really working out. Stand-up comedy wasn't paying, but he kept going anyway, traveling miles just for a few minutes on stage. That night was supposed to be different. It was a competition, real judges, real opportunity, the kind of chance that could change everything. But he never made it. Somewhere along the way, his directions stopped making sense. He ended up on a narrow back road surrounded by trees and empty land. No street signs, no houses, just silence stretching for miles. Eventually, he reached a small town, if you could even call it that. A few broken-down buildings, one gas station, and a handful of people standing outside like they had nowhere else to be. When he asked for directions, they barely responded. Short answers, no eye contact. And when they did look at him, it wasn't normal. It was that empty stare, like they were looking through him instead of at him. While filling up his tank, he noticed something worse. Several of them had stopped what they were doing and were now just standing still, watching him. Not talking, not moving, just staring. He left as fast as he could. About an hour later, the road became completely isolated again. Trees lined both sides, blocking out what little light was left from the fading sky. That's when it happened. A loud crack beneath the car, and another. The steering jerked violently, and he barely managed to pull over. When he got out, the damage didn't make sense. Both front tires were destroyed, not just flat, but completely punctured with multiple nails driven straight through them. That's when the first thought hit him. This wasn't an accident. He tried using his phone, but the signal was useless. No clear location, no way to explain where he was. He called a friend instead, hoping he could trace the route somehow. While he waited, the road went completely silent. Then headlights appeared behind him. Far at first, too far to identify anything. The lights stayed there for a long time, not moving, just shining directly toward his car. It felt intentional, like whoever was behind him didn't want to get too close yet. Minutes passed. Then, slowly, the lights began to move forward. At the same time, another set of headlights appeared ahead of him, approaching from the opposite direction. His chest tightened, because now he wasn't alone, and he wasn't free to leave. The car in front stopped just a few feet away. The one behind closed the distance until it was directly behind him, blocking the road completely. He couldn't see clearly, but something about the shape felt familiar. Then the doors opened, and everything clicked. It was the same beat-up white pickup truck from earlier. Before he could react, something slammed against his window, a loud, sudden impact that made him flinch hard. It was one of the men from the gas station, his face pressed close to the glass, eyes wide and empty, trying to pull the door open violently. The handle shook, metal rattling as he yanked harder and harder. Another man appeared at the passenger side, doing the same thing. Neither of them spoke, just grunted, pulled, hit the glass, like animals trying to break in. He shouted at them to stop, but they didn't respond. It was like they either couldn't understand him or didn't care. Then suddenly, the man at the driver's side stopped. He just stood there, staring directly at him. And then, he started screaming. Not yelling, not talking, screaming. A loud, distorted howl that echoed through the empty road. That was the moment panic took over. He didn't think, he just acted. He shoved the door open with all his strength, knocking the man backward, and ran straight into the woods. But instead of going deep, he dropped to the ground just a few feet in, staying low and completely still. Moments later, he heard them running past him. Multiple footsteps, fast. They thought he kept going. They were wrong. As soon as the sounds faded, he got up and ran back to his car. His hands were shaking as he grabbed his phone and bag. Then he ran. Not into the woods, down the road, as fast as he could. Every second he expected to hear them behind him, but they never came. After what felt like forever, he saw headlights approaching again. This time it was just one car. He stepped into the road, waving desperately. The car slowed, then stopped. The driver let him in. And for the first time that night, he felt safe. When the police arrived later, they didn't find much. A few dents, some tire damage, nothing they could prove was intentional. But he knew. That wasn't random. That wasn't bad luck. They had been watching him since the gas station, waiting, following, and when he ended up alone on that road, they made their move. He never found out what they wanted, and maybe that's the worst part, because whatever it wasn't his car, it wasn't money, it was him.